Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning. I'm Zach Byard, and here's the latest news headlines at 11. In local news, BC Provincial Health Officer Bonnie Henry is providing an update on the arrival of 4 Canadians from the MV Hondius cruise ship. The MV Hondius is known for a fatal outbreak of hantavirus. The 4 Canadians were present on the ship during the outbreak. They've not shown symptoms of the virus, but they will be quarantined in BC for at least 21 days. Henry has reassured the public that the hantavirus is not considered a disease with pandemic potential. The press conference is happening right now. It can be viewed on YouTube in a live stream. New AI data centers are currently being planned for in BC, according to the federal government. Canada's AI Minister Evan Solomon, along with TELUS, held a conference in Vancouver today. They announced plans involving 3 AI infrastructure clusters in BC. There will be 2 new facilities in Mount Pleasant and downtown Vancouver, plus the expansion of an existing facility in Kamloops, according to TELUS. The Kamloops and Mount Pleasant projects will open later this year. The downtown facility will open much later in 2029. And now we go to our producer, Luca Naim-Avila Slobodianic, who updates us on the stories our reporters are chasing.
Thank you, Zach. We'll talk about the story of the strange incident with a motorcycle that happened over the weekend in Surrey, and we'll also talk about the YVR movement, an organization that is focused on achieving a cheaper transport in Vancouver. Going back to you.
Thank you, Luca. A shooting last night in Surrey is now being taken over by homicide investigators. Police were called around 10 p.m. last night to 7000 block of 133B Street in Surrey. They found 2 men in an underground parking lot with gunshot wounds. Both died at the scene after efforts from first responders. No suspects have been arrested or named at this point. Police say no further details about the case have been released. However, they are urging anyone with information to contact the investigators. Adam Lowe, the accused in the Lapu Lapu Day festival attack, is expected to appear in BC Supreme Court today for a case management conference. Lowe is facing 11 counts of second-degree murder and 31 counts of attempted murder nearly a year after the vehicle ramming tragedy. Lowe was determined to be fit to stand trial last September and made his first court appearance in February. Now for global headlines. U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran's response to the U.S. short-term proposal to end the war in Iran is unacceptable. Hope for an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz has waned since the talks. ABC News correspondent Karen Travers has more.
This negotiation was meant to give space for another negotiation that would potentially reopen the Strait of Hormuz, to have ships to be able to go through. Iran was going to ease up there, and the United States was also going to ease off on the blockade. It is now not clear if that will happen, and until that happens, it's certainly not clear that there would be a bigger deal to end this overall conflict, which is now in a ceasefire, but a very fragile one at best.
The Iran war has been ongoing since February 28. The man accused of an attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner has pleaded not guilty. Cole Thomas Allen appeared in court today for his arraignment. He did not speak and had his lawyer enter the plea on his behalf. Allen, a Californian, allegedly entered the dinner armed with guns and knives and fired a shotgun at a Secret Service officer. Allen's lawyers asked the judge to disqualify 2 Justice Department officials from involvement in the prosecution, as they could be considered victims or witnesses in the case. And in entertainment, Quebec residents will continue to have their very own dub of The Simpsons after a deal between Bell Media and Disney. Bell says season 36 of Les Simpsons will air this fall. Fans were upset when Bell competitor Chorus Entertainment decided not to renew the broadcast rights. A petition followed to save the Quebecois dubbing, garnering thousands of signatures. The news was announced via social media in a video with Simpsons characters Bart and Lisa. Seasons 1 through 35 are available in Quebecois French on Disney+. And in weather, it's mild for most of today, not too sunny or cloudy. Burnaby will see mostly sun. Today's high is 17 and low is 11. That was your news for the morning. It's 11:05. I'm Zach Byard, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good morning, BCIT The Crow listeners. My name is Denine Tingala, and the time is now 11:10, and for the next 5 minutes, I'll be updating you on all things sports. In a thrilling double overtime game, the Charge finally punched their way to the Walter Cup Finals for the second season in a row. Ottawa striked first in the first period and scored again at the beginning of the second. However, Boston managed to score 3 unanswered goals. Ottawa's Brooke Hobson tied the game in the third, and Gwyneth Phillips held the fort down and sent the Charge to 2 overtime periods. Ottawa Charge's Michaela Cava took no time in the second overtime period and buries the puck at the minute and 12-second mark and scored the game-winning goal, eliminating the Fleet from the playoffs. Who the Charge will be facing in the finals will be decided today in a nail-biting elimination game against the Minnesota Frost and the Montreal Victoire. Puck drop is at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Montreal Canadiens dominated in Game 3 last night and now have the series lead 2-1 against the Buffalo Sabres. Though the Canadiens were scoring goals left and right, winning 6-2, the star of last night's game was Jacob Dobes, who stopped 26 out of 28 shots, 5 of those being on a penalty kill. Dobes says, however, he is no hero.
I'm not a hero. I'm just me. I'm just a goofy goalie who tries to stop pucks. And trust me, I don't call myself a hero. I will go home, eat, watch Game of Thrones, and go to bed. I don't think that's anything heroic.
Until Saturday, 3 out of the 3 of the Quebec hockey teams were in the playoffs. However, the Toronto Marlies upset the Laval Rockets, winning Game 5, advancing to the division final in the AHL. This was the Toronto Marlies franchise's first win on the road in a winner-take-all game. The Marlies will face the Cleveland Monsters in the North Division final, with the series set to start on May 14th. Moving on to the West, the Anaheim Ducks beat the Vegas Golden Knights last night 4-3, tying the series 2-2. Canadian and Toronto native Beckett Seneca opened the scoring, and the Ducks managed to hold on for the win. Now bouncing over to the court, the Washington Capitals have won the NBA Draft Lottery this weekend. Correspondent Gethin Colbaugh has the details.
The Washington Wizards won the NBA Draft Lottery on Sunday and are poised to pick first overall for the first time since choosing John Wall in that spot in 2010. Wall was the Wizards' on-stage representative for this year's lottery. Washington had a 14% chance of winning number 1, tied with Brooklyn and Indiana for the best odds. The 17 and 65 Wizards had basically a 50-50 chance of either a top 4 pick or the number 5 spot. Utah will pick number 2, Memphis number 3, and Chicago number 4. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Now walking over to the Diamond, the Los Angeles Angels beat the Blue Jays 6-1 yesterday, preventing a 3-game sweep. Joe Adell of the Angels hit a pair of solo homers, and Oswald Pereza added a 2-run homer as Los Angeles ended an 8-game road losing streak dating to April 16th, while also ending a 9-game slump in Toronto. The Blue Jays are up to bat again today against the Tampa Bay Rays at 4:07 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Barcelona have been crowned champions of La Liga with a historic win against Real Madrid in the El Clásico. They only needed 1 point to confirm their status as back-to-back La Liga champions, and they did it against their greatest rival. Unexpected hero Marcus Rashford gave an early lead to Barcelona with a free kick to the top corner. Ferran Torres gets another one in, and the final score was 2-0. The FIFA World Cup is slowly creeping up on all of us, and FIFA just released the opening ceremony lineup in Toronto. The star-packed ceremony will include Canadian and Burnaby local Michael Bublé and other artists such as Alanis Morissette and Alessia Cara. Martin Selby was locked in a battle with the Americans and France for the final spot on the medal podium Sunday that came to a dramatic finish with the sprinted Selby edging the United States. It was absolutely an electric finish from Martin, and it was a confident group of 4 Canadian athletes arriving for this week's World Triathlon Cup on Sunday. They leaned on Tyler Messelcup, who experienced to earn a bronze medal in a hard-fought mixed relay. Oh, really? My time?
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.